Sometimes you've got to realize the reason you haven't reached a certain goal isn't because of other people, it's because you haven't found the right opportunities. Sometimes it could just be you sabotaging yourself. Self-sabotage involves you destroying yourself in physical or mental ways, undermining your own abilities. Unfortunately, we often have no idea that we're doing this to ourselves. Hence, why it's necessary we take a look at important self-sabotaging behaviors that could be the reason why you aren't a superstar in your chosen field. Alright, let's get into it. Number 1. You expect to be given things. Some of us grew up with our parents offering us the world at every chance. Perhaps you've always had everything you wanted at your fingertips without even needing to ask. As calm and stress-free as this might sound, it isn't how the real world works. In the real world, you have to go after what you want. Your dreams, aspirations, and goals, they're not suddenly going to become a reality. You have to constantly work toward achieving them. It's always important to remember that to achieve your goals, you must take active and conscious steps toward them, as this remains the only way to get what you want in this world. Number 2. You procrastinate. Procrastination steals your time. And what's the one currency you can never recover? Well, a wise person would say time. Procrastination tricks you into believing you have more than enough time to complete your tasks. But while you keep pushing off the important things off your table, you're failing to achieve your lifelong goals. Procrastination also affects your reputation. If the guys at the office know you as that guy who never meets the deadline, well, there's a huge chance they won't be willing to work with you. The result? Well, you could subsequently lose your job, which in turn will drastically affect your finances. So why not train yourself to complete your tasks on time? It'll save you a whole lot of trouble in several ways. Number 3. Blaming others when things go wrong. It's easy to shift the blame. I mean, who wants to be burdened with all that guilt? But we have to understand that bad things, sometimes they happen and it could be nobody's fault, or it could be yours. But if you find yourself constantly blaming others when things go wrong, there might just be a problem somewhere. This is because it could suggest you aren't taking responsibility for your own actions. When you constantly fail to see that you made a mistake and would rather blame somebody else, you're preventing yourself from learning and moving on from that mistake. It's important that you take time out to see how you might have made an error or how your input could have led to a specific outcome. However, if you fail to do this, you sabotage your chance to learn from the mistake and grow. Number 4. Picking fights with your friends. Did you know that arguing with your friend in a respectable manner is a good sign in a relationship? The fact you're friends with someone doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say, and expressing your differences isn't an end to the friendship. However, if your friends know you as the person who picks a fight with everyone, you might be doing yourself a disservice. Fighting with your friends all the time wouldn't give you the respect you think it would. In fact, this behavior would only push them further away from you. Nobody wants to be around someone who threatens their peace. It's the same with you. You wouldn't want to be around someone who's always looking to pick a fight, right? If you tend to pick fights every time you're with your friends, you can work on yourself by learning again how to react in certain situations. Try to understand the stance of others before you start taking things personally. It may never even be directed at you. Number 5. You believe what you know is enough. As ancient philosopher Socrates put it, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. This quote is a reminder that we know nothing as humans, and there's always more to learn. We're brilliant creatures, which actually suggests we do know something. But living by this quote by Socrates means you'll always ache to learn something new, despite everything you already know. However, choosing to live by a standard that reiterates that there's nothing left for you to learn, you risk limiting your abilities. And if this goes on for a long enough time, you could become stagnant in your life and career without even knowing it. Pro tip: always remind yourself that you know nothing, and this will push you to want to learn more. Number 6. You date people with obvious red flags. Growing up, there's a huge chance you heard the phrase, "love is blind," whether in a movie, a book, or from a family member who's cracked the answers to the universe. But as you already discovered, love is in fact not blind, and this is particularly evident when we talk about red flags. Choosing to be with someone romantically requires that you bear all your flaws to them and that they do the same. And during this process, it becomes easy to see if you and this person are a perfect romantic fit or not. Now, while there's no manual to falling in love, it becomes important that you leave as soon as you notice any red flags. Don't console yourself with the fact that you'd be able to tolerate this red flag someday. Dating people with obvious red flags do eventually lead to toxic and abusive relationships, which are far harder to walk away from. Number 7. You don't express your feelings. Being a tough guy isn't as cool as we used to make it seem. Now we understand that talking about our emotions helps us deal with them better. Feeling sad? Talk about your sadness with someone. Don't bottle it up with the belief that it would stay buried forever. Also, bottling your emotions up is one of the various ways you can develop serious mental conditions. Being vulnerable helps you to build a stronger bond in your relationships, and it could be a great way for you to understand yourself and your emotions better. Number 8. You aren't honest with your friends. Every great friendship thrives on honesty. If you're being dishonest to your friends, you're risking losing them forever. Nobody enjoys being in a friendship where they're constantly lied to. Not only would it make them feel unimportant, it would also give them a terrible impression about you. And in the long run, your friends leaving due to your dishonesty will have a negative toll on you too. Number 9. Choosing to walk away when things get difficult. Take a second to imagine yourself on a bed of roses without any worry in the world, with everything you ever wanted at your disposal. That would be great, right? Well, unfortunately, the reality of living is a far cry from this dream. Challenges are an integral part of our lives. They prepare us for adult life as teenagers and also help us become better versions of our adult selves. However, if you run and hide every time you face a challenge, you're self-sabotaging your potential. It could be that you break up with your romantic partners right after every fight, or you resign from every job as soon as you face a challenge. And while these might not be your fault, it could also be your fear of criticism and doubts about your own potential causing you to run every time things get tough. Number 10. Refusal to work toward your goals. Most people give up on their goals because they're scared of failure. They reassure themselves saying it probably wouldn't have turned out great anyway. But how do you know that if you never tried? You are defined by your dreams and aspirations, so abandoning them is similar to giving up on yourself. How would you feel if you learned that a friend gave up on a dream they talked about since they were a little kid? You'd feel devastated for them, right? Well, that's exactly how the world would feel if you give up on yourself. Number 11. People-pleasing. Trying to please people all the time wouldn't earn you the respect you deserve. Instead, they would believe they can manipulate and control you to do their will. Also, people-pleasing isn't simply about being too nice to everyone. It also includes having no healthy boundaries, allowing the negative behavior of others, letting others control your actions, rarely expressing how you feel, saying yes when you really want to say no, and vice versa, and wanting everyone to like you, or even taking offense when someone doesn't agree with you. You obviously can't be friends with everyone, so why even bother? Number 12. Addictions. Depending on what you're addicted to, addictions could affect your mental and physical health. If you find yourself smoking several packs of cigarettes every day, you are putting your health in danger. Addiction to pornography and masturbation can also affect your relationships with your partner, while addictions to gambling can ruin your finances. Consequently, these addictions will begin to affect your personal life, preventing you from doing the important things at the right time. Furthermore, a person can also get addicted to being in control, a factor which would make it hard to work with other people. To deal with your addiction, you can begin by changing your environment, while also learning to distract yourself. It's important you identify what your triggers are. Are you more likely to gamble after drinking at the bar? Why not take a few weeks off drinking? Or do you tend to watch pornography when you're bored? Make a conscious effort to distract yourself with a different activity, and it might just do the trick. Number 13. Avoiding commitment. Okay, let's face it, commitment can be scary. What if things don't work out? What would happen to these years you've invested in that relationship or job? You may have seen several relationships crumble right before your eyes, maybe even that of your parents, and that makes it quite hard for you to commit to anyone. You might have grown up with the sentiment that relationships never work out, no matter how much effort is put in. But subsequently, this fear of commitment can push you to start unnecessary fights or act emotionally unavailable towards your partner. Eventually, you would realize that you're constantly involved in unproductive, toxic, and brief relationships. Understand that healthy relationships are possible, but if it unfortunately doesn't go as planned, remind yourself that you are strong enough to feel whatever pain comes after. Number 14. Self-criticism. How do you expect to achieve your goals when you don't even believe that you can? Believing in yourself is the first assurance you need to overcome obstacles. This belief compels you to push yourself beyond your limits, beyond your insecurities. While it's important to analyze yourself and actions at every chance, criticizing yourself too harshly will only contribute to weakening your self-esteem. Number 15. Overthinking. As humans, we sometimes take pride in being an overthinker. I already imagined the worst, we say, so I don't feel so bad it didn't work out. Being an overthinker means you probably envision the worst, but while this makes the blow of rejection easier to deal with, it has adverse effects on your mental and physical health. Overthinking repeatedly over time can affect how you see the world. It can make you develop a pessimistic outlook toward life. And this, on the other hand, will prevent you from making important life decisions. Of course, this can also lead to depressive episodes and anxiety, which are only a few steps away from chronic mental health conditions. So how can you beat this? Stop stressing over the little things. Let go of the things you can't change and focus on the things you can. You've got dreams to achieve, Luxor. And there you have it, 15 behaviors that could be the reason for your setbacks. But now isn't the time to sulk and be upset for your self-sabotage. This is actually a chance for you to make active changes. It's time for you to live your life with more intentionality. Break free from that yoke of self-pity and fly free like a bird. You deserve to see the sky. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it valuable, consider subscribing to our channel and joining our awesome community. And if you're still hungry for more, we handpicked this video for you to watch next. Or head over to our website for more amazing content. See you tomorrow.